What's up guys, it's Slikk here. I'm back again with another video, and this one we're starting an annual video that I want to do every year from here on out, and seeing that 2016 was the year that my channel was no longer about just Batman Arkham as it was in 2015, but instead is about all superhero video games, including SpiderMan PS4 and Injustice 2, etc, etc. So I want to give a rundown of what we can expect in 2017. I made a video going down release dates for 2017 games, I believe, and that's not really what this video is, more so just a rundown of what we can expect in 2017, so that's partially a release date expectation sort of thing, but also just generally talking about the games and you know, trying to go a little bit in depth with what we're going to be seeing in 2017 for superhero video games, which is going to pretty much blow the genre out of the water in terms of we've never really seen this many games come out in one year before, and also just the quality of the games that we're getting, or potentially may get. And we'll talk about SpiderMan PS4 and the Damian Batman game, which are question marks for a 2017 release. But we also look at games that are definitely coming out in 2017, like Marvel vs. Capcom, Injustice 2, etc., etc. So either way, I think this is going to be a phenomenal year. I'm going to go and run down what we're going to be, in for in 2017 with superhero games. And let's start first with the first game that we're going to be getting in the year of 2017, and that is Injustice 2. Injustice 2 is going to be coming out, in my estimation, between the months of March and May. If you look at NetherRealm Studios' history with releases, that is when they release games. Do consider, though, they were affected by the strikes of the video game voice actors, who most of which get paid over $50 an hour. But anyway, they were striking because they weren't getting paid enough, as I said, getting paid over $50 an hour. They were all on strike, so that might have affected the release. We learned it didn't affect SpiderMan PS4, thank God, but it did Injustice 2. So if the game comes out after May, you know why. So we know who to go after as an angry mob of fans with our virtual pitchforks and stuff. But no, in all seriousness, that game, I don't anticipate it to be delayed. I think it's going to come out before May, although the lack of information and announcements, we haven't gotten a character announcement since August. That's a little bit alarming, okay, that we haven't got any news. But I'm still confident we're going to get the game by May. I think that we could get the game by March or April, so I really look forward to that. Injustice 2, what am I most looking forward to out of that game? I'm really looking forward to the story. I hope that, in a way, it almost is its own thing from Injustice 1. Of course, it's going to follow it in the sense that Superman has to break out of prison, I get that. But I hope that you can enjoy the Injustice 2 story if you haven't played the first one. Now, I have played the first one, but just saying, I hope that you can enjoy the game without the first one. Also, I heard that Supergirl is going to have a big part in this one, and she arrives in between the events of Injustice 1 and Injustice 2. Maybe there's something that accompanied her pod that is going to be vital to the story. I don't know. It's just a speculation. So Supergirl's going to have a big part of the story. I like that because I like Supergirl. Also, the biggest gameplay mechanic I look forward to the most is the gear system. It's such a great idea. And again, speaking of Supergirl, you look at all the costume changes you can make to her. It looks really good. And also Batman, I hope they do the idea of gear sets where you can create a gear or create rather a suit that we love, like 2039 Batman Beyond, and we can create that suit from attaching a certain gear set and gear pieces, and they all form to make a costume, basically. Whether that be Batman Beyond or Arkham City, that's just the instance for Batman, and then you go all the way down the line. But I've seen some of the gear. There's a lot of it. It looks great for Aquaman and everything like that. I cannot wait for that. It's my most anticipated aspect of the game, as well as the story, of course. The main story. And I did quite enjoy the story for Injustice 1. I think they could do a lot to make it more cinematic. One of my complaints with Injustice 1 is you would be playing the story, like for instance in the Arkham Asylum level, you would be playing through that level and there would be all these people rioting in the background, and then the fight starts and they all disappear. So it's a little bit like uncinematic, and they can only render people in the background in cutscenes. I hope it's not that way in this one, because it sort of takes you out of the story of like the cinematic nature of that. So hopefully they improve on that. But otherwise, the character models look great. They've improved on those in the past few months, and I cannot wait for the game. And Injustice 2 is going to be a big hit, I think, in 2017. And is going to set the stakes high for Marvel vs. Capcom to basically contest in the fall. So the next game that I expect to come out in the year of 2017, related to comic book games that is Guardians of the Galaxy by Telltale Games. This was announced a few months ago over the Game Awards. The Game Awards happened in December, and that is when they announced the Batman game a year before that. So reasonably, we could expect the game to come out around the same time as the Batman one did, that being August, I think. I do think that it's actually going to be pushed forward and is going to come out as early as May. That's when the Guardians of the Galaxy film comes out. I think that they will accompany that with the movie. So therein, I think that they're going to have an episode 1 planned for the month of May. So they're basically fast-tracking the game in a way. But really, I think they just kept it secret well, as long as they could, and then it got leaked for like a month. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. I think that this game actually is a little bit further along in development than the Batman game was. So I would expect that around the time the Guardians of the Galaxy film comes out, which is May. So that's something to look forward to. It's going to come out probably sooner than the Batman one did. If not, like summer at the latest. They want to parallel it to the film, I think, and they're not going to have it come out in, November or something like that. So I think that's going to be an early to mid 2017 sort of thing with the Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale game. After playing The Wolf Among Us and the Batman video game, I'm convinced that Telltale Games knows what they're doing with comic book related properties, as well as The Walking Dead, of course, which is comic. But specifically in the superhero realm of things, if you could consider Big B Wolf a superhero, which I certainly would, a Vertigo hero. And I really look forward to seeing what they do with the game. I have a lot of confidence. They're great storytellers, of course, and I really believe the game's going to be great, and I just can't wait to see what they do with it. Now, my big expectation, I guess, is not really an expectation. I just think one thing they'll do with the game is do what they did with Batman, and that is make drastic changes to the lore. Maybe even more so than they did with, Batman, and just really shake things up and make it different. Now, they may not, because there's a little bit of Batman fatigue. People are sort of wanting to see something new. That's evident in Batman the Telltale series. It's evident with WB Montreal's Batman game, which stars Damian Wayne and Flamingo and White Rabbit as villains, and people are just like, what? But they may not do it for Guardians of the Galaxy, because even then we saw in the teaser trailer, we saw a scene from the film as like the main reveal for the game. So that's making us believe that maybe it's going to be more on rails, and maybe it could be canon to the MCU. Who knows? It really could be. Now, we know SpiderMan PS4 is not going to be canon to the MCU. It's completely its own thing. But maybe the game could be, much in the same way that The Walking Dead by Telltale Games is actually canon to the comic book universe, okay? So, for example, Season 3 takes place after All Out War in the comic book storyline. So they could do that. Maybe they worked out something with Marvel Studios and the game is canon, or maybe it takes place between Volume 1 and 2. I don't know. I don't think so, but that's just a wild theory, and maybe we'll see if that comes true. So that's my thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy, hitting probably mid-2017. Next, we have Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which was only recently announced and is going to be coming out in the fall of 2017. This is also a game extensively leaked before it was announced, so it's been in development for quite a while. I think we're going to be seeing the game once again in fall 2017, which means that it's going to be coming out, basically half a year after Injustice 2. It's often compared to Injustice 2. They're very different games, and I look forward to them for different reasons. I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom, I'm pretty sure, you can actually contract epilepsy from playing the game for, more than 2 hours. I found that out recently. You can catch epilepsy, which is sort of, like a unique phenomenon, but it's crazy, man. I mean, it's really fun. It's not a series that I've had as much exposure to as I had the Injustice games, but I really enjoy them. I really, really enjoy them. And I am that kid that makes my team, my three-man team of all Marvel heroes, by the way, because, I'm just a nerd like that. And I don't really have the connection to Capcom as I do to Marvel. But even so, I mean, I really look forward to the game. Mega Man X and this one returning, who I don't think was in Capcom 3, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I just look forward to the game. I mean, Street Fighter V had a rough launch from what I heard. I never bought it or played it. But I think that they have learned from that, and this one's going to be silky smooth in terms of a launch. And I'm hoping that they learned from that game, and maybe I skipped out on a good year, I don't know. And 2017 is going to give us a great title with Marvel vs. Capcom. One of the things that has come out is that it's going to heavily focus on story, so it's going to have a big story aspect to it, which is something I really look forward to as somebody that plays Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I enjoy playing arcade matches and fighting against each other, but I do wish there was a big storyline you could play through. And in this one, Captain Marvel is going to have a big emphasis in the story, so that's something that really excites me. I cannot wait to see what direction they go with that, and really time will tell. But yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I mean, it's one I'm excited for, no doubt about it. So now let's get into the really big heavy hitters. Let's first start with SpiderMan PS4, and then we'll talk about the Batman game. So SpiderMan PS4 is one that was announced a long time ago. It was, middle 2016, so about 6 months ago now, and I estimate that this game could come out in late 2017, and what you'll find is that for the Spider-Man game and the Batman game, I don't know they're coming out in 2017, but it is my estimation that we will get at least one of them. Maybe both, but unlikely. I think that we'll get one of them, but I don't think we'll get zero. I don't think both of them will be in 2018. Spider-Man PS4 is a game that is very far along in development, realistically speaking, the way that I see it. We see the game and the gameplay. and all of the skyline in the background of the trailer is rendered in PlayStation 4. The whole city is, you know, developed, right? I mean, it's not to say that the game is done or the map is done or whatever. It's not, of course, but it's something to be said about the fact that there's actually a playable version of this game that is very evidently shown off in the trailer. It's polished. It's not, you know, I don't know, it's some 2D dev version of the game. I mean, it's playable. You can see it. The graphics are rendered. The suit is I mean, the player mechanics are all there. The game is playable on PlayStation 4 right now. Now, it probably has a lot of glitches. I'm not saying that. I think the game is still almost a year away, but not much more than that. I mean, I don't see the game coming out any later than mid-2018, and if I'm going to make a guess on it, we're going to be getting the game in late 2017. And if not Spider-Man PS4, then definitely the new Batman games. Let's talk about that for a minute as well. Again, I'm placing that at roughly a 50% likelihood of coming out in the year of 2017. If it is going to come out in 2017, it's going to come out in October. That's when all Batman, Arkham, just Batman in general games have been slated to release in since 2009. Now, Arkham Knight was delayed, but even so, it was scheduled initially to release in October of 2014, and then it was delayed to June 2015. In regards to Asylum, City, and Origins, they all came out in October as well. So that's why I really don't think the game's going to come out in 2018, because they're probably aiming for an October 2018 release at that point, because they're not really going to release a Batman game in February. It's just not going to happen, despite what people on Reddit that claim to work for WB Games will tell you. I think it's unlikely. Not to say it's impossible, but I think it's unlikely. In regards to this Batman game, though, I wanted to sort of track, you know, what is the likelihood the game's coming out this year, because, yeah, and I wanted to go back to the other Batman games, and I wanted to look at what is the gap between trailer, reveal, or basically announcement. When was the game announced initially? The first day, it was like, hey, we're making this game. To release, what is the time span? For Arkham Asylum, it was 12 months. For Batman Arkham City, it was 14 months. For Batman Arkham Origins, it was 7 months. And for Batman Arkham Knight, if intended, without the delay, it was going to be 8 months. Because what Origins and Knight did, they were revealed in the March and April, respectively. Origins in April and Knight in March. And then they were intended to release in October of that same year. So, you know, about a 6 month, 7 month wait, somewhere in that range. And ultimately, Knight was delayed, like I said, but that's basically the way they've done it. Pretty much a 6, 7, 8 month window between announcement to launch. That's not all that substantial. It's not that, you know, long. So therein, people have said, like, well, the game's not released or announced in 2016, so we're definitely not getting it in 2017. It's going to be over a year from announcement to release. That's just not true. If you look at the track record of it, again, Origin 7 months, Knight 8 months. If they're going to follow suit, then they can very well announce the game in March, and the game come out in October, or, you know, announce the game in April and the game release in October. And they've done that with Game Informer for the past 2 titles. There's no reason that we can believe they won't do it this time. So, you know, if I'm going to bet money on it, they're going to do what they did the last 2 games. They're going to announce it in March or April over Game Informer, and then they're going to release the game in October. That's my honest guess on it. Again, it could fall through. They're doing something very ambitious with this game, okay? So it's different from what they've done in the past, but even so, I think that's most likely. And if not the Batman game, I think we're going to get either Spider-Man or Batman late 2017. No earlier. It's not going to come out any earlier. Spider-Man PS4, they probably aim to have the game accompany the film in mid-2017. It's not happening. It's going to come out late 2017 at the earliest, but I'm confident we're going to get either Spider-Man or Batman. And, you know, the new Batman game is one I'm really, really excited for. It's one that I have a lot of faith in and hope in, whereas everybody else is very negative about it. I just made a video on that recently. You can go check it out. I have a lot of faith in the game in WB Games Montreal. I think the game is really ambitious, and amidst fans all saying that they're Batman fatigued, they're tired of Batman, and they want something new, WB Games has finally given us something new and unique and different, and then fans reject that as well. So it seems like they're in a lose-lose situation with the Batman, and maybe it is time for them to move on from the franchise eventually. I don't want them to, because I love the Batman property, but you know, again, you know, people have always said, you know, I want them to do something different, and that was the biggest complaint of Arkham Origins, right? The game is too much like City. It's the same shit over and over again. You know, you fight the same, it's all the same stuff, and then sure enough, they make drastic changes. They say, okay, well, we're not going to do the same. We're going to change the combat, we're going to change the story, we're going to change the character, and people reject it. So I can probably just feel the pulsating, anger or frustration, I suppose, more so, you know, that WB Games might be feeling towards us fans, that we nagged them for being so repetitive and copying and pasting from City and not innovating enough, and now they're innovating like we wanted them to, and we're getting mad at them for that. And not we, it's other people, not me. I'm not mad at them. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the game. I have a lot of hope for it. I think it's going to be phenomenal, as all the Batman games have been. There's no reason we can anticipate or expect the game to be shitty, especially because we don't even have a launch CGI trailer yet. I mean, come on, people. So, I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous what's going on with that game and some of the fan feedback to it. It's practically confirmed at this point. I understand that some people still, you know, believe that it's bogus or whatever, and time will tell with that. As I said, I think the game's going to be announced in March. But also, Jason Schreier of Kotaku said the game was going to be actually revealed in December before there were shakeups at WB Games Montreal from a management, you know, level. And that's going to get pushed back. So maybe they're just going to delay it a month or two. In January or February, they're going to announce it. And maybe sooner than we expected. I think that we're going to be getting an announcement for this game in the next few months. I really, really do think so. So for, you know, the time of people that are frustrated with you know, covering the leaks, and there's not really any information to back it up, I think that in the next few months we're going to finally get this game confirmed. It's been a long time in the waiting. It's been since May of 2016 this game was leaked, and I've been covering it. So it would be, at that point, almost a year of just covering the leaks of the game. And generally a game like Arkham Knight was leaked a month before it was announced. And generally that will happen, right? You know, like a few weeks before Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy. And then they're like, oh shit, it got leaked. Well, we got to drop the trailer now. This game was leaked so far in advance and has been leaked so extensively. And that's why they really need to announce the game, and they need to get along with it. Because you see that Jason Schreier Kotaku article, and you know your game has basically been confirmed when people are in a conversational tone talking about it, when it hasn't been confirmed. Okay, so you look at, again, the article from Jason Schreier, and he's like, the Suicide Squad game has been canceled, and oh yeah, by the way, that Batman game that we all know about and we all know is real, they're gonna rev up production on that. So it's like, at this point, everybody's on the same page that the game is real. Why doesn't WB just confirm it? And I guess just get everybody on board and get people excited for it, I suppose. And you know, maybe they're recognizing that the hype is larger when there's still that little bit of ambiguity. The game might not exist. That is when hype is larger than when you actually just come out and say, like, well, now that it's been confirmed and this is actually a thing now, and not just, you know, some crazy 19-year-old kid on YouTube, you know, rambling about this stuff, then, you know, at that point, people actually consider, like, holy shit, they're making a Damian Wayne game. Like, what the hell? And again, you know, the Judge and White Rabbit, and like, what the fuck are they doing? But even so, I mean, I think it would be the best course of action at this point, because it's kind of a joke. It's kind of a joke. And again, I understand some people still don't think the game exists. It's kind of a joke they haven't announced it yet, just my opinion. So anyway, guys, hope you'll have enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts on 2017's prospects for the superhero video game genre. I think it's going to be the best year that we've ever seen for the genre. Again, you know, you look at 2016, no games really came out besides Batman the Telltale series, which was phenomenal. 2015, you have Arkham Knight, which is a big heavy hitter. But beyond that, you know, you really have usually for superhero games, one big game and then like a supplemental game or like a side, you know, like a mobile game that draws attention but isn't really anything substantial. But what we're getting in 2017 is unprecedented. No doubts about it. No doubt about it. And I cannot wait to play all of the games in 2017. It's going to be a great year for the channel. Hope you guys are all ready for the ride. And we're hitting the ground running here early in 2017, again, with what I expect to be an announcement for the WB Batman game and Injustice 2. Injustice 2 will be the focus of the channel in early 2017, as will, you know, late 2017 when Marvel vs. Capcom. I mean, that's how this channel is going to work as a superhero game, and of course, superhero game channel, and of course, you know, when Injustice 2 is out and there's information about the Damian Batman game, I'll make videos on that. Don't get me wrong, I'll be uploading every single day. That's what I do. But you know, even so, just do consider that whatever's out at that point, you know, Injustice 2 is going to be a big deal for the channel in March, April, and May, and I will be covering it with the same tenacity that I did Arkham Knight back in the day, a video every day. And, you know, doing discussion videos and gameplay and Easter egg, like all those sort of videos that I did for Arkham Knight is pretty much what I plan to do for all the games hitting in 2017. So, anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe.